My video begins on the balcony of my second floor hotel room in Kona, Hawaii. The sun is just now rising, but it's pretty cloudy right now. Still, it's a beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean with the waves crashing into the lava rock shore. I also have a nice view of the pool directly below. There's also a lagoon on property. Unfortunately, I didn't get to swim in the lagoon because we didn't have enough time. Probably my biggest regret of this trip. I mentioned at the end of my last video that there's a big price difference between the partial ocean view which I have and a full ocean view. This view looks great to me. Way in the distance is a cruise ship that looks like it's heading this way. I'm not sure if there's a cruise port on this side of the island. It's cloudy, but take a look at the colors on the mountainside. Look at those pink colors starting to peek up over the hills. This is a pretty nice resort. They have a couple of restaurants here, a big gift shop, and they have sunset luau's here several times a week. On my last night at this resort, I'll be at the luau. I'm really looking forward to that. Alright, I've got a long drive ahead of me, so Mr. Hawaiian Bear is gonna have to keep this hotel room in order while I'm gone. I'm about to head to my car, but I wanted to take a look at this beautiful ocean front from this vantage point. Looks like the cruise ship has just stopped right there. I'm not sure why. Maybe there isn't a dock, and the ship has to stay offshore. Anyway, time to head out. It's about 6:30 a.m. and I'm heading back to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, which is about 90 minutes away. The plan is to spend the morning there while it's sunny, since the forecast calls for rain around noon or so. Now on the south side of the island, and look how beautiful the ocean is. This island definitely has a more laid-back and quiet vibe than Oahu. Another thing I unfortunately won't have time to explore are some of the gorgeous black sand beaches that they have along the southern coast, and I think one is where the turtles come ashore and lay their eggs. It's mainly because the forecast calls for rainy afternoons while I'm here. I'm now at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. They had some major volcanic activity over the last few months, which permanently closed one entrance to the park, but some of the videos I saw from that time frame were pretty amazing. Today, however, no volcanic activity. There's still some steam from the Kilauea crater, but no lava flow or anything like that. There's also an amazing overlook of the Pacific Ocean that I like to see, so I'm hoping the weather cooperates. Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome everyone! Hawaii Volcanoes National Park has been on my bucket list ever since I started planning to go to Hawaii. Looking forward to seeing this amazing park. Let's go! You might recall in my last video I briefly visited this park, but it was very foggy here, so I couldn't see very much. This morning is much better. Some high clouds are starting to work their way in, so I'm hoping the rain holds off for a little while. My first stop is the Kilauea overlook, where I was last time. I'm hoping to see what the crater looks like without being obscured by fog. The land here is unstable, so there are caution signs because there are steam vents, earth cracks, and cliffs here. This path isn't very far from the crater rim. Here's a marker showing the path of the crater rim. I think half of the trail was removed because of recent eruptions. I'm at the right side of the trail. This marker mentions the story of a fierce battle between two sisters at the summit of Kilauea. One sister crawled into the volcano to destroy the other sister. They have found evidence that this battle actually happened. This big boulder on the right serves as a monument of that battle. Check this out. Look at all this steam coming from the crater. This marker shows how Kilauea was transformed after a major eruption in 2018. On the top row is what the crater looked like on May 19th, 2018, and then the bottom row shows after the eruption 3 months later. There were some eruptions a few weeks ago, but aside from this steam, Kilauea has been pretty quiet since then. I believe this is Mauna Loa, the largest and tallest active volcano on Earth, the second tallest peak in Hawaii. Now at the Uikahuna overlook. According to this marker, the overlook is a celebrated and noteworthy place at the highest point along the Kilauea volcano rim at 4,000 feet in elevation. There's a short unpaved path to this overlook. Hopefully this overlook will provide a nice wide view of the Kilauea volcano crater. Weather's still looking good. Actually, there are fewer clouds at this moment. And looking once again at Mauna Loa, behind the desert. Zooming in at the top of Mauna Loa in the distance, it appears that there's a little snow on the top. Since the elevation is well over 13,000 feet, and probably very cold up there. Take a look at that big mountain in the distance, and that has a lot of snow on it. That mountain is Mauna Kea, which is only 125 feet taller than Mauna Loa, but that makes it the tallest peak in Hawaii. You might be able to make out the big NASA telescope. Another quick look at the Kilauea crater, and a bunch of steam started spewing out all of a sudden. Now heading back to the parking area. There's a building over there that's closed. That's the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. That has a great overlook just off the crater rim. I'm trying to zoom in as close as I can to Mauna Kea. I didn't expect to see any snow in Hawaii, especially not in April. But then again, I'm looking at Mauna Kea from the wet side of the island, and it's cold at nearly 14,000 feet. You can definitely see the big telescope of the observatory near the top of the peak. Now heading toward an area of the park where there are more active steam vents. This reminds me of Yellowstone with its steam coming out of the ground. Looks like they cut out a rectangular area and surrounded it with stanchions. Why do people throw coins into it? It's not a wishing well. Here's another steam vent I can just walk up to. Again, these idiot people threw coins in this vent. Why? Yeah, definite Yellowstone deja vu. And caused by the same thing. Yellowstone is basically on top of a giant volcano, and that's why there are steam vents and boiling springs all over the park. Let's check out another section of this park that's very different and very picturesque. Just inside the entrance to this park is the Chain of Craters Road. Along this road are a number of pull-offs where you can walk to small craters where volcanic activity had occurred. Nothing the size of the Kilauea crater we just saw, though. But what I'd like to see first is located at the very end of this road, which is about 20 miles away, at the coastline of the Pacific Ocean. I like to get there before the predicted fog and rain come later in the day. About halfway down this road, you can see the terrain has changed quite a bit to mostly a thick coat of lava rock. I can't tell if this lava rock is from a recent eruption, though. I forgot to mention the road started out at 3,800 feet in elevation, and we've been going downhill ever since to maybe an elevation of under 100 feet. On the left you can now see the ocean shoreline, which is very beautiful. We also got a brief break from all of the dark lava rock, and right now is mostly grassy terrain. I still have about 6 miles or so until reaching the coastline. Getting closer now, maybe a couple miles away, and now the coast is on the right hand side of the screen. Clouds are rolling in just a little bit. So far, not too bad, but I'm still hoping to avoid the rain. This is a bucket list item when planning this trip, to reach this amazing coastal feature, which could be temporary because the coast is always changing. We've now reached the end of the road. From here we have to walk about a quarter of a mile or so. This road used to continue along the coast, but the recent eruptions destroyed this road, And now the only way here is from up top. We're here to see the Holei Sea Arch. The path continues to the right, and there's a viewing area where you can see the arch, and the area is roped off so we don't fall off the cliff. And here's the arch. It was formed from a combination of volcanic activity from a 2018 eruption and the ocean waves. Sorry my eyes are closed, the sun is in my eyes, but for posterity I wanted to have myself in this video. There's a marker showing how the coastline is constantly changing. The first picture shows a solid wall without the arch formed yet. The middle photo is present day, though the arch looks a little different now. The last photo is what it will look like when the arch is completely gone. The arch is 90 feet tall. About 9 months ago, a large chunk of the leg of the arch fell off, and it continues to wear away a little at a time. The National Park Service says this arch could collapse at any time without warning. I'm really glad I got to see this in perfect weather. This arch is really amazing. I've been here for about an hour just looking at it, but I have to head back up the hill. Some others are now taking a look at the sea arch, and my mama is taking some pictures in the other direction. In the distance there are a cluster of palm trees. Anyone know about these trees? I need to take one last look before I go. That was really awesome, but it's time to head on back. I'll see some of the overlooks that I drove by on the way down. I'm missing the petroglyphs, but I'll see some of the other overlooks and smaller craters along this road. Looking at video of this roadside overlook with these distant views of the coastline aren't the same as seeing it with my own eyes. Apua Point is in view here. The 3-mile-long Puna Coast Trail runs along the coastline to Apua Point. Here's another overlook to a platform, which looks like it has a better view of the coastline. The coastline view is amazing from here. I wonder if I can see the entire southern coast from here. There's a Apua Point right there. There's the chain of craters road that we were just on that leads from here to the ocean coastline. That's probably a couple mile stretch right there. Now heading to the Mauna Ulu overlook further up the road. The ground is almost completely covered in lava rock. Everything is pretty much lava rock, not any grass or trees or anything. It feels very warm with the heat radiating from the lava rocks. Here's a view from the overlook. Definitely endless rocks here, caused by a 1969 volcanic eruption. I'm now at 2,680 feet in elevation. Now taking the short trail to the Pauahi crater. This is a fairly large crater that formed from volcanic eruptions from 1973 to 1979. This crater is about 2,000 feet long and 1,300 feet across. It's 300 feet deep. There were 3 eruptions. The first eruption was very brief. The second lasted for 31 days in late 1973. And the last eruption lasted just 1 day on November 16, 1979. It's also starting to rain just a little bit, and some light fog is starting to roll in. The scientists do not view the nene. Nene is the official state bird of Hawaii, and it is also called a Hawaiian goose. I didn't see any of the nenes, but my parents still sang the old song Buffalo Stance, sung by Nene Terry. So lame. Nearby is the Luamanu crater. This is a much smaller crater, just 300 feet across and 125 feet deep. This crater was formed a little differently. About 200 years ago, instead of an eruption, the ground collapsed and was replaced by a pool of hot magma. Some lava flowed into this crater from another volcano's eruption in 1974. Before I left, I wanted to check out the visitor center. I think there's a small gift shop and some displays inside. The Mauna Loa and Kilauea volcanoes were underwater, but after erupting they partially formed the Big Island of Hawaii. These displays discuss the various landscapes and wildlife found in this area, and also that it's still changing with every eruption. Also a discussion of the native Hawaiians that lived here. Some very tiny fish inside the sphere, along with what looks like a piece of coral for the fish to live in. I wonder how they clean this fish tank. Maybe there's a way to disassemble it. There's an area at the back of this visitor center that's decorated as Mauna Loa's tropical rainforest. Pretty much the whole morning I haven't seen any forest, and sometimes no plants at all. In Hawaii, the biodiversity is on the forest floor, whereas other forests is at the top. Some markers that talk about the wildlife, mainly birds that live in the forest. Fences keep pigs out, but in this case the fence keeps the black pig inside this display. He's on one of Earth's most isolated islands. Only one new plant or animal reaches these islands every 30,000 years. I didn't think about how wildlife got here in the first place. During the Great Depression, this visitor center was constructed as part of FDR's push to create conservation-oriented jobs for struggling young men. The marker gives the latest volcanic activity update. Both Kilauea and Mauna Loa are not erupting. Looks like they both stopped erupting a few weeks ago. I was hoping to see the glowing lava at sunset, but it's not going to happen. This marker describes how lava can flow out of the volcano. It doesn't just flow from the summit, it can flow along an underground lava river and exit from fissures or craters. At the top right it says that Kilauea eruption in 2018 destroyed 700 homes and added 875 acres of land to the Big Island by extending the shoreline. There's also a lava tube you can walk through, but the lights weren't working inside. And as expected, it's about noontime and the clouds have rolled in. I'm really glad I went in the morning. Now heading back north toward Kona, past another area where the lava flowed from Mauna Loa through this road and on into the ocean. Also, it's now raining, just as the weather forecast called for. It'll be another rainy afternoon, but overall it was a really great visit to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. I highly recommend you visit if you're staying on the Big Island. And that's it. Another great day in the state of Hawaii. Only one more video after this to share, then I head back to the mainland. But for now, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!